divine spirit inside our heart and pray for the welfare of the whole humanity. Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine Avatara varisthaya Ramakrishna te namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, who has shown the practical ways to reach God, who has shown how to live in this world without getting entangled, how to perform one's duties in the world at the same time be not attached to the world. It's a technique, a unique technique which has been given by Sri Ramakrishna so that everyone can practice spirituality even if he is in the world. That is really wonderful thing. What is there in this world after all? There is more misery than happiness. There is more grief and sorrow. There is more pain than anything else. So, how to make our life, in spite of all these difficult situations, circumstances, how to live our life joyfully, that Sri Ramakrishna has very clearly shown the way. If at all we aspire for real joy in the world. But many people, they just don't want this type of spiritual joy, which they think might be very difficult for them to achieve. But Sri Ramakrishna has warned, if we do not give proper attention to our ways of doing the things, then nobody can save us. We will be more and more in bondage. We will be more and more in the world. Again and again, you will have to come to this world and suffer and suffer and suffer. Unless we change the attitude, there is no way of getting out of suffering. It means we must know. Probably through suffering, some people will come to know whether there is any way. Well, that is why Sri Ramakrishna is very particular about these things. In the last class, I have read from page 81 to 82. It deals with these practical hints. Two things he has very clearly pointed out. One is to take control of the mind. Use the mind properly. Secondly, the process of vichar, that is analysis. You must constantly distinguish what is real and what is unreal. The idea is, when you are sure that certain thing is not real, it means you must reject it. It means you must not worry over the unreal things. And then he has shown how to make use of this mind, how to get into the spiritual life. In a very simple way, Sri Ramakrishna has shown the ways of keeping this mind clear. What it is, he first says, repeat the name of the Divine Lord. Let it be any name of the God, but you must know it is divine name. Repeat the name constantly. Sing His glories. Keep holy company. Make more visits to devotees. These are some of the important ways of fixing the mind on God. Then, of course, we have to practice meditation. Before stepping into meditation, we must go into solitude, where we would be able to think deeply without any external disturbance. There you have to discriminate between the real and the unreal. Whenever you conclude that certain things are not real because they constantly keep on changing. So once you are convinced about the unreality of things, you must immediately be ready to get rid of them. Your mind must not be allowed to dwell on such matters. Now, sometimes people would ask, Master, how ought we to live in the world? No, we can't go away from the world. We are having family, children. So many things are connected with us. It is not at all easy for us to shake off everything, renounce everything, get away to forest or some place where one can completely immerse oneself in spiritual practices. It is not possible for all the people like us, ordinary people. So this question, the devotees, they posed. They asked the Master. The Master said very compassionately, good. I am not telling to get away from the world. be in the world by all means, but know the ways of living in the world. How to live in this world, that's very important. That's the point which we should concentrate. Then Sri Ramakrishna tells about the performance of one's duties. Sure, he has got certain duties to be fulfilled. That is the way. So do your duties by all means. It must be done. Niyatang kuru karma, twang karma. You must do. Lord Krishna also tells in the Gita. But one thing you must not forget. Do your duties, but keep your mind on God. If you remove God from mind and go on doing duties, instead of getting better, you become worse. Because in the final analysis, you become deeply attached in the garb of the duties. You are overwhelmed in the worldly entanglements, which you would not be able to shake off. So, then Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of the maid servant. She is working in the house of a rich man. She fondles the children there. She calls the children of that wealthy man as her own. She says, "You are my boy, you are my child, I love you very much," etc., etc. She loves, no doubt. But in the heart of heart, her real love is towards her own child, towards her own home in the native village. And he gives the example of the tortoise. It moves about swiftly in the waters, but her mind is always on the bank where the eggs are laying. So, these are the example which Sri Ramakrishna has given to us to pinpoint a very important fact that we should keep the mind on God and do whatever the things in the world. Wonderful. Then he gives the example of how the person who has not developed any love towards God, if he just enters into the world, he becomes more and more involved and entangled, as a result of which he would be facing many dangers, various types of sorrows, grief, etc. Big list. Well, what Sri Ramakrishna is pointing out here is, first you cultivate the love for God. It's very important. You must develop a taste for God, God's name. Somehow you must develop that quality. Then, once you have that love of God, then nobody can disturb you. You are 100% safe, even though you are in the midst of the ocean of the world. You will not be drowned, rather you will be floating on the waters. That's the beauty. He gives the example of the jackfruit. Suppose you cut open the jackfruit with your hands, the milk of the fruit, it sticks to your hand. It becomes very hard. It will be very difficult for you to open and remove the fruits. It becomes extremely difficult. But then, before opening the jackfruit, you smear your hands with the oil. Then you cut open the jackfruit. It comes very easily. The milk of the fruit doesn't stick to your hand because of the oil in the hand. So here, Sri Ramakrishna tells we must cultivate the love of God. This love of God is the oil. If you have it, then you be in the world, you will not be contaminated by worldliness. So, he is again and again telling, first we must cultivate the oil of divine love. We must secure it. That's very important. To get it, you must go to solitude, you must go to temple, you must go to a place where you feel that vibration, where you can have that experience, where you can recall the spiritual vibrations. By constantly living and thinking about God in the holy place, the mind acquires knowledge, dispassion, and devotion. Very important. If these three are there, then we are safe and safe. What is in the world? Only two things: lust and wealth. The whole world is just comprised of these two things. So mind is put into these things, it is drowned. It is drowned in the ocean of lust and wealth. It doesn't know how to get up afterwards. So that is why Sri Ramakrishna again gives the example to make it more clear. Water and milk. If the water and milk come together, then milk becomes one with water and you will not be able to find out even the trace of the milk. If there is a large quantity of water and little quantity of milk. But then, you turn the milk into curd, then churn it, make the butter, then put that butter in the water, it floats. You can very distinctly see the butter in the water. Two separate. Water is separate, butter is separate. Previously you would not distinguish at all what is milk, what is water. The whole thing appears as water itself. So, the milk should be in a place where there is no disturbance so that it can be converted into curd. That's what here Sri Ramakrishna is hinting, that we should occasionally go into solitude or a holy place or a temple so that the mind gathers its energy, so that the mind is not deviated in so many distractions. That's the way of keeping it in solitude. You must be able to spend at least about half an hour or about 1 hour or so. If you keep on doing it regularly, you will appreciate the value of it. So by doing that, it gets into a state of curd. Then you must make use of that mind, thinking about God. You will acquire knowledge. You will acquire love towards Him. And this knowledge and love, this is called the butter. So this mind thus cultured in this manner, if this mind is kept in this world, it is no more entangled. It is free from any kind of distractions. So Sri Ramakrishna in his teachings in these 2 pages has made it very clear. Develop, cultivate the love of God, then do whatever the things in the world. Side by side, use your intellect. Always have that attitude of discrimination between what is real and what is unreal. Sharpen your intellect. So, jnana bhakti, both are essential. Jnana bhakti, they are the 2 wings. The bird can fly, only it has got 2 wings. So jnana bhakti are the 2 wings. Both are necessary for us. Then our life will be fulfilled. We get fulfillment and we will be blessed. So far, we had read. Now I shall continue the next para. In page number 82, after this water, milk analogy is explained, then he talks about discrimination. Together with this, you must practice discrimination. What is that? Woman and gold is impermanent. It has been explained here, woman means not in the literal sense. Generally people get attracted when they see a woman because of the lustful thoughts. It is true even with the case of women with respect to men. So the idea is lust and wealth. That's the point we should note. And it has been explained in the footnote. God is the only eternal substance. What does a man get with money? That's the way of discrimination. Sri Ramakrishna is showing even the ways of how to discriminate. Food, clothes and a dwelling place, nothing more. You can't realize God with its help. Therefore, money can never be the goal of life. That is the process of discrimination. Do you understand? Master Mahasaya answered, yes sir. I recently read a Sanskrit play called Prabodha Chandrodaya. It deals with discrimination. Then Master said, yes, discrimination about objects. Consider what is there in money or in a beautiful body. Discriminate, and you will find that even the body of a beautiful woman consists of bones, flesh, fat, and other disagreeable things. Why should a man give up God and direct his attention to such things? Why should man put his mind always on this body? Why should a man forget God for their sake? Master Maharaj asked, is it possible to see God? How many times, how many people keep on asking this question? Even if the question is answered, yet there will be people who will be asking the same question. That only shows we are not practical in what we think. That is the reason. When this question was asked, is it possible to see God? Sri Ramakrishna gives fine, direct, simple answer without any complication. He said, yes, certainly. That means all the doubts about God are shattered. God is there, He is present, He can be seen. He is telling from His own experience. It is not simply theoretical assertion. It is practical experience. And then Master says, living in solitude now and then, repeating God's name and singing His glories, and discriminating between the real and the unreal, these are the means to employ to see Him. Without doing any of these things, we want always some miracle to happen. Somebody should come and simply make a magic to us. Look, this is God. Or somebody comes and tells, I myself am God. There are people who talk that way. So people are simply being hoodwinked by all sorts of this false type of expressing the realities. God realization is to be experienced by everyone by one's own spiritual effort. You have to pass through all this process. You must keep on repeating God's name, go to solitude, spend some time, develop love, then only you will be able to have the vision of God. Again, Master Maharaj asked, under what conditions does one see God? It is as if Master Maharaj is cross-examining Sri Ramakrishna's realization. On the other hand, while answering Master Maharaj, Sri Ramakrishna is cross-examining Master Maharaj's quality, what type of man he was. Actually, by to the Lord with an intensely yearning heart, and you will certainly see Him. People shed a whole jug of tears for wife and children. They swim in tears for money. But who weeps for God? Cry to him with a real cry. Then the master sang, cry to your mother Shyama with a real cry, O mind. And how can she hold herself from you? How can Shyama stay away? Shyama is Divine Mother. How can your mother Kali hold herself away? O mind, if you are in earnest, bring her an offering of bell leaves and hibiscus flowers. Lay at her feet your offering, and with it mingle the fragrant sandal paste of love. How beautifully Sri Ramakrishna has given the practical ways of developing this love towards God. This is all meant for us if we really want to have the vision of God. Continuing, he said, longing, intense desire to have God, to see God. The longing is like the rosy dawn. After the dawn, out comes the sun. Longing is followed by the vision of God. God reveals himself to a devotee who feels drawn to him by the combined force of these three attractions. The attraction of worldly possessions for the worldly man, the child's attraction for its mother, and the husband's attraction for the chaste wife. If one feels drawn to him, that is to God, by the combined force of these three attractions, then through it one can attain him. So it shows to what intensity our love should be developed. Until you have that optimum quantity, optimum quality of this love, until you have it, you can't have the realization of God. The point is to love God as the mother loves her child, the chaste wife her husband, and the worldly man his wealth. Add together these three forces of love, these three powers of attraction, and give it all to God. Then you will certainly see him. It is necessary to pray to him with a longing heart. The kitten knows only how to call its mother, crying, mew, mew. It remains satisfied wherever its mother puts it. And the mother cat puts the kitten sometimes in the kitchen, sometimes on the floor, and sometimes on the bed. When it suffers, it cries only mew, mew, mew. That's all it knows. But as soon as the mother hears the cry, wherever she may be, she comes to the kitten. What a beautiful example. It was Sunday afternoon when Master Mahasaya came on his third visit to the Master. He had been profoundly impressed by his first two visits to this wonderful man. He had been thinking of the Master constantly and of the utterly simple way he explained the deep truths of spiritual life. Never before had he met such a man. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on the small couch. The room was filled with devotees who had taken advantage of the holiday to come to see the Master. M had not yet become acquainted with any of them, so he took his seat in a corner. The Master smiled as he talked with devotees. He addressed his words particularly to a young man of 19 named Narendranath, who was Vivekananda in the later years. He was a college student and frequented the Sadharana Brahma Samaj. His eyes were bright, his words full of spirit, and he had the look of a lover of God. Master Mahasaya guessed that the conversation was about worldly men who look down on those who aspire to spiritual things. The Master was talking about the great number of such people in the world and about how to deal with them. Master to Narendra: how do you feel about it? Worldly people say all kinds of things about the spiritually minded. But look here, when an elephant moves along the street, any number of curs and other small animals may bark and cry after it. But the elephant doesn't even look back at them. If people speak ill of you, what will you think of them? Narendra answered, I shall think that dogs are barking at me. Sri Ramakrishna answered smilingly, oh no, you must not go that far, my child. God dwells in all beings, but you may be intimate only with good people. You must keep away from the evil-minded. God is even in the tiger, but you can't embrace a tiger on that account. You may say, why run away from a tiger, which is also a manifestation of God? The answer to that is, those who tell you to run away are also manifestations of God. And why shouldn't you listen to them? Let me tell you a story. In a forest there lived a holy man who had many disciples. One day he taught them to seek God in all beings, and knowing this, to vow love before them all. A disciple went to the forest to gather wood for the sacrificial fire. Suddenly he heard the outcry, get out of the way, a mad elephant is coming. All but the disciple of the holy man took to their heels. This one particular disciple reasoned that the elephant was also God in another form. Then why should he run away from it? He stood still, bowed before the animal, and began to sing its praises. The mahout of the elephant was shouting, run away, run away. But the disciple did not move. The animal seized him with its trunk, cast him to one side, and went on its way. Hurt and bruised, the disciple lay unconscious on the ground. Hearing what had happened, his teacher and his brother disciples came to him and carried him to the hermitage. With the help of some medicine, he soon regained consciousness. Someone asked him, you know the elephant was coming, why didn't you leave the place? But he said, our teacher has told us that God himself has taken all these forms of animals as well as men. Therefore, thinking it was only the elephant God that was coming, I didn't run away. At this the teacher said, yes, my child, it is true that the elephant God was coming, but the mahout God forbade you to stay there. Since all are manifestations of God, why didn't you trust the mahout's words? He should have heeded the words of the mahout God. It is said in the scriptures that water is a form of God. But Some water is fit to be used for worship, some water for washing the face, and some only for washing plates or dirty linen. This last sort cannot be used for drinking or for a holy purpose. In like manner, God undoubtedly dwells in the hearts of all, holy and unholy, righteous and unrighteous. But a man shouldn't have dealings with the unholy, the wicked, the impure. He must not be intimate with them. With some of them he may exchange words, but with others he shouldn't go even that far. He should keep aloof from such people. We shall stop here because Sri Ramakrishna has clearly hinted how to manage ourselves in this world in spite of so many difficulties we are facing. That means we have to develop love towards God, which is the most important spiritual practice. That's what I feel. Once you develop that quality, then everything becomes easy. Everything becomes easy. We have natural love towards money, towards properties, towards this, that. But we don't have even 50% of that love towards God. Why 50%? Even 25% we don't have. So we are facing all problems in the life. That's why Sri Ramakrishna tells again and again, go to the solitary place, get your mind engaged in thinking about God, in praying to Him, singing His glories, etc. So, in whatever way the mind is given training, that way the mind acts. If you give spiritual training, the mind becomes spiritual. If you give worldly training, the mind becomes worldly. So everything is in our own hands. We must know it. Holy people have come, they have shown the way. If we don't learn, then we are to blame ourselves. What the holy people can do, what the incarnations can do. They have told, do like this, but we are not doing. We want to enjoy the world. But negatively, we are bringing sorrow ourselves. We are, instead of enjoying, we are suffering only. It's only an illusion. You must somehow find out the ways of cultivating the love of God. So, if you try it in that way, naturally the desires, etc., will come under control. Desires may come. Even I may also get desires. Desires, they come and they go. I don't give importance to them. That's the point. They do come. Don't care. It is not that every desire that comes you should do it. I don't do it. A desire comes, I want to visit a place where there is a very good music program. A desire comes. Then I will tell, I am not bothered about it. It may come, the desire may come, but I don't want it. So that's the point. So you must assert your mastership. You must use your, to a certain extent, sometimes willpower, if the desire is too strong. So that is the way to fight out the desires. Sometimes the friends may come and they compel you to go. And you have to discriminate. Is it good? Is it worthwhile going there? On the other hand, if I am here, I can do a little more meditation, or I can read some spiritual books, or I can do some thinking about God, which I would not be able to do all the time. After all, little time I have got, let me use it properly. So, you must have that kind of attitude. That is, you must, in the mind you must have firm conviction. What you wanted, that's very important. If I want really God. Do you want really God? If you want really God, then develop the love. If you want really God, then reduce the desires. Like that. That's the way. And moreover, unless you try consciously, there is every chance that we are being duped by the circumstances. That's the point. That's why Sri Ramakrishna tells you come in touch with people of like temperament. If at all you want to meet some friends, have the devotee friends, go and meet, go talk to them, talk about God, discuss various spiritual matters, have mutual discussion. That's the way. For example, the other day you had a very good retreat in Ganges. All like-minded people, you joined together and you had a wonderful discussion. It helped you a lot. So that's the way. So again that keeps you more interested. Again, we shall have another retreat. Because you develop the taste. It is really wonderful. It is really making me peaceful. So you again and again you like to have it. So such desires are good. So you replace the bad desires by good desires. Afterwards, you must meditate and you must transcend even these good desires also. Go above all these desires, good and bad, reject both. Both should be rejected, even good desires also. Again and again, you are forced to act upon according to your desires. At one point of time, you must be able to transcend. You must go above this level of desires. There's a state of tranquility, samabhava. The samabhava is established only when you are above all the desires, above good and bad. Of course, that state, even to think of it is good. So that is the way how we should do it. Now the first question, the religion and spirituality, what you have pointed out, that religion is ordinarily meant something mechanical and institutionalized, etc., etc. But Sri Ramakrishna did not mean religion that way. His definition of religion is perfectly clear. From his practical experience, he has dealt with this subject very thoroughly. Not that he was incarnation and he did not know our problems. It's not that. Because he actually underwent lot of hardships just to have experience and to convince himself what exactly religion means. So, what all the teachings he has given to us, they are practical expressions of his spirituality. So, Sri Ramakrishna himself has defined religion as the manifestation of divinity already in man. That is called religion, not simply dogma or rituals or something else. But the point is this, then why there are so many institutions in name of religion? But it is necessary. It is just like a nursery where you bring all types of flowers, etc. In the beginning it is necessary to develop them. Once it comes to a certain stage of development, then it is kept separately and it is given to people who can culture them and have them independently. In the same way, institution has got its value if you understand properly. Why it is mechanical? Because your heart is not there. If you know you have come here, you want it, so you are doing it. You must have that attitude. I have come to this institution. I have come to this ashrama. Why? For spiritual life. Then why I should not live properly? So, you must try to search yourself. And in fact, what is the meaning of Sri Ramakrishna telling, repeat divine name, repeat, he says. Repeat, of course, is mechanical in the beginning. But constantly repeating means the mind constantly dwells on that subject. And that paves the way in course of time. Suppose you think of a beautiful picture. Again and again if you think,
then your whole mind dwells on that because you begin to love that picture by constantly thinking about it. That is only repetition. Constant thinking is nothing but repeating your thoughts. And to that extent, you are preventing other thoughts to cross. So, the institution in a general way, it gives certain ways of practicing discipline. Individual responsibility is there. Each one has got his responsibility. He should understand it. Make use of the ashram, make use of the institution, utilize it properly and develop inwardly. So religion is interior life. Religion is completely interior life. So if you don't develop renunciation, if you don't develop knowledge, if you don't develop dispassion, if you don't develop all these divine virtues which are very necessary for spiritual realization, then it is no use if you are staying in the institution or stay outside. Wherever you go, you can't have any development. Institution will only helps you instead of staying in the bazaar. If you are staying here, there's a marked difference. Here shrine is there, monastery is there, atmosphere is there, environment is there, everything is there. In spite of all these things, if you don't do meditation, go on sleeping in the whole night in the room, day and night, go and sleep because nobody sees you. You can do anything if you want. Suppose you are not following properly all the spiritual practices, then what the institution can do? So, sincerity is very important in spiritual life. But motivation, how it comes, some people, they understand through suffering. Some people, they become motivated by reading some books, some ideas. For example, if some people read Sri Ramakrishna's Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, that itself gives good motivation. True, what I am doing, I am completely lost in the world. I should not have done this way. Let me do some practice at least now onwards. Like that he begins to think.